What's going on, Elevation Nation? We're back like we never left for another episode of the podcast. And today we get to welcome an awesome, incredible new elevator, Jenna Pereira, to Elevation Nation. Jenna is the founder of JP Social. She also calls herself the professional hype girl, which we'll get into a bit on LinkedIn. But Jenna, what's going on? We're pumped to have you. Welcome to the nation.
Hello. I am so excited. I feel like it's been so long that I've been looking forward to this. I'm happy to finally be here.
We're so excited to welcome you to the nation. Although, Jenna, if you are the professional hype girl, I think I would like to be professional hype boy, because Parker likes to tell me that the intros that I give on the pod really amp people up. So we'll compete over that throughout this episode, but I'm so very grateful and excited that we got connected to you. Obviously, you have so much exciting stuff going on in your life, and we know you a little bit now, but for everyone else that is just hearing your voice for the first time, this is Elevation Nation. We like to start it with a little elevator pitch. Who are you?
I am Jenna. I am an entrepreneur. I own my own social media marketing agency as well as my own boutique creator talent management agency. And outside of work, I am a yogi. I am a very spiritual manifestation mindset woo-woo girly. And I live in New York City with my now fiance and our little dog.
Can we just make the podcast about, I feel like, Parker, we might just have to pivot from social media and talk manifestation, because we could do that for hours.
Oh, I thought you were going to say talk Italian pizza where Jenna got engaged. We could spend a whole
we could do that too.
About
Why
that,
don't
right?
we go to Italy and do a special episode of the podcast? Like, we can be like Dave Portnoy rating the Italy pizzas. I feel like that's...
Sign us up.
Great.
Sign us up. That sounds incredible. I know you just got back from Italy. Was there a pizza spot or a food or place that like really stood out to you?
Yes. We went to Sicily, and there's a restaurant. I don't think it's a chain. I think it's like a family owned, and they have different locations. It's called Made in Sicily, Made in Sicilia. And we ate there probably like several times. It was delicious. The rice balls, the pizza, the wine, 10 out of 10, everything.
I actually think I might have been there.
Stop. In Sicily? Stop. You're lying.
No, in a different place. You said it's a chain, no?
There were multiple in Sicily. There were like 2 or 3 in the same little like area.
So I've never been to Sicily, but I've been to other parts of Italy, and if it is a chain, I might be wrong, but it sounds very familiar. And my wife and I were like, okay, yeah, this spot's awesome. Low key in Italy too, they eat pizza with forks and knives, which is hilarious. I was surprised by that.
They hand you a pie and they're like, here you go. They don't cut it. Nothing. You're just like, oh, okay. Can you give me a pizza cutter? Like something?
I love it. Well, I know it was an amazing experience. You came home with a very special, I guess, new title, new commitment, and a beautiful rock on your hand. So congrats to you and your future husband. We're so pumped for you. And I mean, Jenna, when we first connected a couple weeks now, through Gigi Robinson, who's an incredible elevator. We love her so much. I was inspired by your story and like what you're about. So can you walk us a little bit more about like why you wanted to become an entrepreneur and start your own thing? Like what led to that?
Yeah. Okay. So in college, I knew I was not built for the 9-to-5 corporate life. I knew that could never be me. I just want to be free and and have some flexibility, and it just felt like a trap to me. So I knew right out of college, my original plan was to move to the city and just bartend, because I bartended my way through college, and pursue acting full time, because that was my main thing that I was going after. And COVID happened, obviously, and all the bars shut down. And so I started freelance social media marketing on the side on Upwork. I got random jobs. I was being paid $10 an hour to help this up and coming musician on social media. It was so random. I was just like, this is great for now. And then I got good at it and I loved it and I fell in love with it. And I got so many clients that my dad was like, I think you need to open up an LLC. Like, I think you need to make this legit. And so about 6 months into freelancing, I opened up JP Social Marketing, and things kind of exploded from there through word of mouth and through just social media and people knowing other people and referring me. I've worked with Amazon Prime Video, Netflix. I did the final season of Ozark, which I loved that show. Bravo TV, I did Project Runway, Top Chef, a bunch of like things in entertainment. And then I also work with property management groups, and they have apartments in Miami and New York and Jersey City. I worked with Coco Rocha, and her model camp. She's a supermodel, and that was a lot of fun. Just like everything. I've worked in so many random different niches in social. I just see a project and I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun. I'll dive into this. So yeah, one thing led to another, and I've been able to have this incredible career and this incredible roster of clients. And about 2 years ago, I saw a gap in the market in talent management. And so I opened up the talent division of JP Social, and we represent dogs and cocktail creators and motherhood influencers. So it is so random and so niche, but I'm like, I love making dogs money on the internet. Every time now I look at my dog, I'm like, you need to get a job, dude. Like, I'm signing deals for these other dogs. They're making money. Like, you need to contribute to this household. But yeah, it's just been so lovely, and my journey is still continuing. You know, I'm ever evolving, and I feel like every month I have something new that I am wanting to do and try. So, but that's the joy of entrepreneurship and self-employment, is that you can always grow, expand, and pivot as many times as you want to. But yeah, that's basically the journey of how I got here.
I want to appreciate your positive mindset with, you just said the word pivot, because I just wrote a newsletter article about how Parker and I have spent the last year pivoting over 500 times, that I feel like I've made a tornado. My brain is in circles. I don't know what direction we're headed. And so thank you, Jenna, for the friendly reminder that this is the joy of entrepreneurship, that we get to pivot and we get to change directions and we get to make mistakes and redo things. I personally needed that reminder, so thank you. I also want to say, Parker, you missed your opportunity so badly to work with Jenna when you went viral for filming a dog. And I'm sure you're kicking yourself now.
Man, well, the beautiful thing about Parker in the Park, that's my TikTok alter ego, Jenna. Among Elevation Nation, I have a TikTok, and I only do videos in the park. I live right, around one of the best parks in the entire world in New York City. And a couple years ago, I filmed a video of a dog just barking to the tune of a jazz band playing right next to it, and it went viral, like
wow.
uber viral. And that was a crazy experience, and I had no idea what to do with it. So I wish I had knew you at that time, because we would have to find the dog, first of all, because the dog was a musician within himself. But for me, I had an opportunity to just become the dog guy in parks.
Absolutely. You should have capitalized. You could have been the next doggist.
Now he's stuck doing Elevation Nation. I'm sorry.
With you. Damn.
That's
I'm
where
not
your
as cute as a dog.
Pivot to dogs. That's where
might
the
be the
pivot
move.
is leading.
Listen, I'm all for new ideas. Jenna, I want to ask, and this is just because I know a ton of elevators that are listening to this are chomping at the bit right now. Sam and Parker are finally having someone in social media management, content creation, and representation in the nation and joining. Can we get a little bit more detailed on, obviously not exacts, but you say you work with these brands. What are you doing for these brands? Like, what are some of the offerings, products, and services that you help some of these big brands with?
Yeah, great question. So all organic social, that's a big portion. I'll talk about organic social first, and then I'll talk about influencer marketing. So organic social, I help with content calendars, content strategy, posting, community management, basically anything, any process between ideation and then posting and commenting and keeping up with the post after it's live. I help brands do that. So that's in multiple different capacities. For Amazon Prime Video, like, it depends on how big the team is too. Like, if I'm coming in on a larger team and I'm coming in to consult versus if I'm the sole person that's doing all of their social media management. I basically say that I can do everything from ideation to after it's live. And there's, as everybody knows, that even just posts casually on social, there is so much that goes into it, the trends and the content creation and the editing of it, the graphic design of it all. Like, there is just so many different moving pieces, but my brain loves systems and simplifying things. So I'm the person, like, I love working with these big brands and big companies, or even influencers or creators that have so much going on, because I'm like, okay, my brain loves to take chaos and make it into like a neat little line and be like, okay, here's the workflow, here's what we're doing. For influencer marketing, one of my favorite campaigns that I did was for the brand Swimsuits for All. I did the Camille Kostek swimsuit campaign, and that was incredible. I got to source influencers. I gave a list to the company and saw who they liked, and then got to like reach out to all of them, negotiate with them and their agents and all of that. And then I got to be on set when they shot this huge influencer campaign, and then that led to, I think it was like 2.5 million impressions, and then a sold out launch. So that was just an incredible experience. So I also can help with influencers, and now especially that I own my own talent management, I'm way more equipped to handle negotiations and talks with influencers from a brand's point of view. So yeah, anything that isn't paid ads, I can do.
So Parker said, obviously you met Parker first before me. He was like, dude, you're going to love Jenna. You guys are going to get along so well. How you just described your brain is exactly how my brain works. And Parker and I were laughing the other day because I'm very much our ops guy. That's how my brain works. That's my real job. That's what we do for Elevation Nation. And Parker and I were like, all right, we got to start to lean more into our personal content creation. And so we've made it one of our missions now in the next few months to start to post more on our own personal social media. And so I'm telling Parker what I'm doing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do 3 posts. I use ChatGPT. It came up with a schedule for me. I now know exactly what I'm going to do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And he's like, dude, your brain works so differently than me. He's like, I just walk in the park, and when I find inspiration, I just post. I'm like, I can never do that. I need to have structure and regimen. And so it just made me laugh that you are like me. Is your fiance like Parker, a little more chaotic?
Not chaotic, but I would say he very much like goes with the flow, and like things like roll off the shoulders, and I'm like, I'm fine to go with the flow, but what time does the flow start?
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said chaotic. You're not chaotic, Parker. You're free-spirited.
Yes.
No, that's my art, Sam. You know, an artist has a way of doing things. Your art is, all right, I'm going to set my rules before the day starts, and I'm going to go by those rules for the whole day, and that's where you're going to bring things into the world. Whereas with me, idea, great, perspective. Like, my whole world shifts until that idea is out there. I mean, that's why we work well together, Sam.
You guys make a great team because of that.
Exactly. I'm curious, Jenna, like being in social media and working with all these amazing clients, you know, let's talk about like the TikTok, Instagram, you're creating all these videos, you come up with a plan, the campaign, you develop it, you post it. It's still like this crazy algorithm where you really don't know what's going to hit. So like, do you have any pillars that you go by that you know will help you gain traction on social media?
Yeah, so I think every post should serve a specific purpose. Like, every post isn't the post, like, it's a trend and it's educational and it is nurturing and it's selling. Like, each post serves a different purpose, and then it all comes together to build that trust and bring people through the pipeline to either buy your product or buy your services or follow you, whatever that end goal is. And then also too, different brands have different goals. So you're working with swimsuits, obviously the goal is you want people to buy swimsuits. You're working with Amazon Prime Video, the goal is to get more subscribers, to get people to watch. It's like multi-pronged, like this is a launch that we want people to watch, we want this to go well, we want people to subscribe, like different goals. Whereas an influencer, you want following, or you want brand deals, or you want speaking engagements. Like, becoming crystal clear on what kind of funnel your social media is, like what is the end goal of all of it. Because obviously, yes, you want followers, but what's beyond the followers? As we saw, TikTok almost like, we're still, I think, up in the air with TikTok where it's going, but it's not going to go anywhere. But you want to know like where this is leading you even past the social media. So to answer your question, I would say coming up with the content strategy based off of what that funnel is for you and just sticking to it. Like really, like Sam said, coming up with the plan and like really just sticking with that plan for 2, 3, 4 months, looking at your analytics, seeing what's working, and then adjusting from there. I think that that's really important, is you have to try something, stick it out, try your content pillars, try your content, stick it out with it, and then look back at your analytics, see what's working, see what's not, and pivot from there. Does that answer your question?
It answers my question. I have 1,000 more,
helpful.
but we didn't pay you, Jenna, so I'm not going to ask them all. What I did want to ask was, again, we have so many young entrepreneurs and personal brands and new influencers that listen to the pod, right? And Elevation Nation is a diverse collection of some of the best and brightest young minds that are up and coming, I would say, in their different fields. Why do you think it's important for them to invest in a social media strategy or work with someone like you earlier on in their career? Like, what is the value for them? Because I think now it's like as normal as saying, like your dad said, hey, I think it's time you need an LLC. Like, I think it's time you need a content strategy, and that's the norm. So I'm curious your thoughts there.
Sam is masking that he's asking for the nation, but I know him. He's asking for himself. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm taking notes right now.
I mean, you're like,
I mean, I'm taking notes too. Up here.
I love it. Yeah, so I think that if you're not on social, nobody knows who you are. Like now social is a different type of currency, and it is completely normal. It's not going away. It is here to stay, and it is just a different part of your business. Like I think the same way that like, you know, you have a product, you want to market a product, you need to get on social media to market the product, you need to market yourself as an entrepreneur. Like I started LinkedIn in the beginning of this year, and I've honestly taken a little bit of a pause, like pre-engagement and traveling and all of these things. And it has gotten me, I only have 2,500, 3,000 followers. It has gotten me so many opportunities. I've been connected with amazing people, because that's another thing about social media as an entrepreneur is the connections that it gives you. So even if your goal isn't as an entrepreneur, because I know that a lot of people aren't comfortable on social and they don't want to be an influencer, they don't want to be a creator, they're a business owner, and that's incredible. There are platforms for you. There is LinkedIn. You can create an Instagram. You can create a personal brand in the way that is authentic to you, but you need to look at it as another part of your business. And if you, again, it goes all back to like what your goals are. My goals when it comes to LinkedIn and social media, it's not becoming an influencer. Like I work for influencers. I know what the life of that job is. It's not for me. But what my goal is to connect with people like you guys, is to connect with other Gigi Robinson, is to connect with my friend Natalie Kelly, that like lifelong friends and entrepreneurs and people in your network that can expand you in ways, elevate in ways in ways that you can't move on your own. So if you're an entrepreneur and you need funding, if you're an entrepreneur and you need a co-founder or somebody to work with or anything, social media is the gateway to that. Like everything that you need, whether it is notoriety, fame, recognition, followers, or just networking and putting yourself out there, so that way you don't need to go side hustle hunting, or you don't need to get a full-time job in order to, you know, sustain your side hustle as it's coming up. Like it's just inbound opportunity. I like the saying that every social media post is a free lottery ticket. You don't know who's going to see it. You don't know what's going to come out of it. And like by you opting out and not posting, you're not, like, you can't win the lottery, you know?
It's incredible advice. I think that makes sense in 2025.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, myself included. I've been so anti social media. Like, I'll give you a little sneak peek. When we first started Elevation Nation, Jenna, Parker and I came up with the idea just for the podcast at that point. And I begged Parker to do like an anonymous ski mask podcast where no one knew who we were. I wanted them to change our voices because I was just so confused on why I'd want me being vulnerable, opening up about my struggles as a young adult male to be part of my personal, professional brand. Like Parker and I just joined one of the biggest accounting and consulting firms in the world. It's like, they don't want to hear that side of me. They don't want any of that. And I think more and more, hopefully, where you work is now celebrating that. And you're able to build your own personal brand, even if you don't want to be the face of it. To your point, use your personal brand to make incredible connections, to meet new people, and to at least have a perspective on something. I think that's what people want when they hire someone new or want to start a company with someone, is they want you to have a perspective and a purpose and a passion. And so social media helps you find that.
You don't want to be at the mercy of, like, don't let the fear of my job won't like this, or a future job that I have won't like this, or like, even what if I'm trying out entrepreneurship, what if in the future I want to, get a 9-to-5, it'll hinder it. Like, it'll actually help. It really will help, because nowadays, again, it's currency. I know people that get jobs off of like their LinkedIn posting. They don't need to apply to a job ever again just because they have a LinkedIn following, and they post like, hey, looking for another client, or hey, actually, like, in this stage of life, I'm looking to have a 9-to-5. Like, does anybody have? And they get jobs just from that one post because people know them and trust them. So you want to be you want to be your own recruiter. You want to be in charge, your own hype woman. You want to be in charge of your own personal message and your own personal brand, because people are talking you have a personal brand anyway. People are talking, people are like, you might as well take control of it and use it for your own betterment and your own good. We're all online now. Like, everybody has a digital footprint now, no matter what. We're at this age now. So it's like, you might as well make that benefit you.
That's a good point. I mean, I think about this too a lot. Like, we grew up with social media. I mean, honestly, not even like younger kids today. Like, they literally grew up with it. At least for us, for Sam and myself, Instagram became a thing in maybe high school. Facebook became a thing in middle school. And, things take years and years and years to really get embedded within your like culture. And, Sam, to our point, like, we grew up, we were nurtured in a world by teachers and family members and eventually professors, and then even at job, managers and supervisors and directors who never grew up without social media. So in our heads, it was, to your point, like, we got to hide all this stuff. We got to hide posting because it will impact how we approach, how people see us in a normal day-to-day in the working world. When in reality, you and I both know, I mean, through the podcast too, like, we have a unique perspective because we are people and we all have unique stories to tell, experiences. And I believe social media is an incredible place to share those things, right? Talk about creative art. For us, Sam and I, we like to say our art is podcasting, talking to people. And I think what's incredible is that everyone can participate in sharing their journey in life, sharing the lessons they've learned, their ups, the downs, the failures, and in between. And I do think that, to your point, Sam, earlier, like, the employers are going to have to shift and have to think about ways that they allow people to be themselves, because people are posting on social every single day. One, maybe for the monetary like purposes, they can make a buck, but also they just like want to engage with other people and meet other people. So I think it's going to continue to shift, but I don't think there's a time right now where it's better to continue to start to share your story.
Yeah, and I think removing the external validation of it all, like, it's easy to get caught up in the, I'm going to post and I want it to go viral and I want to get millions of followers and I'm going to be Alex Earl or this person or Gary Vee or, this and that, whatever. It puts so much pressure on you and on the external numbers. Whereas instead, if you come to social media from like a holistic, like, manifesty woo-woo space, which I try to do, and say, if this message reaches one person or gives me one connection or puts me in touch with this person who leads me here and gets me this gig, that's what this is about, because there are people making millions of dollars that have, 5,000 followers, but all 5,000 of those followers would buy from them if they put something out. Whereas there's influencers with hundreds of thousands. They don't have a loyal audience. They don't know how to monetize, and they're not making any money. So it really, I'd like to encourage young entrepreneurs. It's not about the vanity metrics. It's really about you putting your authentic self out there and calling in what you want in your business, or in your life, or like you said, your opinions and things like that, calling that in and casting that net and seeing who gets it. Because even if it's one person, that one connection from that one post that got one like can change your life.
Yeah. One more thing to add there too is like, I feel like something that always held us back with posting is like, it's like the cringe factor that like all of our followers were people that we knew.
Yeah.
Like the idea that our stuff could go to people that we didn't know, but we know our stuff would help them. Like that never really crossed our mind at the beginning. Whereas now it's like flipped. It's like we're creating because we believe in our mission at Elevation Nation to elevate the mindset of 1 million people so that they can go conquer the world as a better leader.
Yeah.
Right? We always thought of it as like, wow, these are our friends. They're the ones who are going to see this. That's so cringe. But yet there's such a world out there that will like embrace that and love that.
Yeah. It's a real art form. Like similar to acting, I could act on a stage in front of 1,500 people that I don't know and not be nervous. But if you put me on a stage and ask me to do a monologue in front of in my living room in front of my family, that to me is more nerve-wracking than the stranger. So in any art form, there is that resistance and that fear of a negative perception or a fear of failing. But just remember that the people that are sending your stuff or potentially you're worried about or making fun or oh my God, that's so cringe, they'll say it's cringe and then you're making bank and then they're like, how did you do that? Can you shout me out? I'm trying to start a business. Can you please help me? You're so cool. Same people, different results, so you just gotta wait.
Yeah. No, the best feelings are when people come across our stuff, they send us a message. We've never heard of this person ever. Yeah, it's cool when a friend or a family member, Parker, I loved your episode with blah, blah, blah. I love you. Great, that's nice. But when random
Was that
people,
imitating your mom or your sister there, Parker? Which one?
Well, I mean, Colby listens to a lot of the episodes, but she's hard though to give these dishes.
She tells us straight.
Very limited. She tells it straight. But getting a message from somebody you've never met in the internet just
cool.
Found us by algorithm, it's crazy. And that's what's wait, this resonates with people. And it doesn't have to be just what we're doing in Elevation Nation. It could be anything.
I do think it's funny. Parker and I obviously have been podcasting now for a couple of years and have done a handful of episodes at this point, over 400. So we've obviously gotten better because we've done repetitions of it and practiced, and we've dealt with all the scenarios of Wi-Fi cutting out or a guest not showing up, right? We can now storytell through podcasting, and I would say we've gotten a lot better. But you put me in front of them, I'm using my phone as my camera right now. I have a microphone in front of me. If you flip this from horizontal to vertical and told me to talk for a TikTok, I would have no idea what to do. And I just think it's so funny we've spent so much time mastering or working towards mastering this class of podcasting, and yet I'm so petrified to start in social media. But Jenna, you were inspiring me. I'm going to try. I'm going to get better. You can critique me just like Parker's sister, Colby, does. And that's how we're going to become better at content creation. So yes. I'm now in. I'm invested. Let's do it.
And just know, if you scroll down on, I'll use Gary Vee again as an example. He's been making videos since I think it's 2009 or something like that. If you look back, those videos are horrible. They're really bad. If you look back at Mr. Beast, his first videos, they're bad. And that's okay because that's part of the process. You're not expected to be good right away, but social media is this interesting thing where you have to be bad in public, whereas if you're learning how to play the guitar, you can be bad as long as you want in your room. You're not going to go on stage until you're good, but you kind of have to fall on your face a little bit on social in public, and it's just part of the process.
That's such a fair point. I'm thinking to even Parker, our real jobs as consultants. right? You're in your small group. You're the lowest one on the totem pole as a staff one, fresh out of school, and you have levels and peoples who are more senior than you that coach you through so you can get to the next rank and work your way up. Whereas social media, we come in and what we're comparing ourselves to are like the senior, most executive polished partner, because those are the videos that go viral and look the best and the ones we see the most. And so there's this weird like learning curve of social media where we only compare ourselves to these incredible people at the top. And that's just not true in anything else. Like imagine if you're playing T-ball and the only people you can look at are people in the MLB that you have to like say, yeah, do what they're doing. Like that's just, you work your way up. And I think social media makes it hard to do that. There's a business idea, TikTok, but for shitty content creators so they feel less bad about themselves at the beginning.
And then what do you do?
Training wheels.
Yeah, TikTok on training wheels.
That's funny. One last point on this too. I think right now, especially it's with TikTok in particular, I think brought this to light, like how important authenticity is in your content and just literally hitting record. And I think that's the challenge, Sam, that you were saying with the podcast. We just hit the record button and then we have a conversation for 45 minutes. And that's where the authenticity comes out because we have a long time to just have a conversation. Whereas with a TikTok, let's say you're making a video that's going to be less than a minute. Now every word counts. What's the hook? How are you going to embed music? How, if you're going to embed music at all, what are you going to show? What are you going to talk about? Making sure you hit the point that you're making. What's, how you're going to make an impact in someone's watching it. Like that all needs to be done within a minute. And then on top of that, still adding that authenticity factor is so challenging. And I think the ones who end up doing really well who are the ones who have that structure down, but also just continue to be authentic. Jenna, I'm curious what you think about this. I was giving Sam some shit the other day. He was making some content, but it looked very structured. And I was like, on TikTok, like...
It's because it was structured, dude.
It was, but like people know and call the bullshit. The structured is inauthentic in a sense. And maybe it was a good message. Maybe it was a good point. But like I feel like some of the best creators I come across are just people who literally are walking, they hit play or hit record, and then they're just talking. They're fumbling in their words sometimes. They have an and a this, but they're still genuine and authentic to who they are.
Sam, try pretending that you're on FaceTime or like on a podcast because you're very comfortable here and you're great at putting your words together. You're not even saying like or pausing or anything. If you would just act the same way you did right now when you're recording, just pretend you're on FaceTime or pretend it's a podcast recording, like that mindset might help. I think people get tripped up and it's like, I have to talk fast and it's 90 seconds or a minute and I have to do this and I have to have a strong hook and a script. And I think yes to all those things, but I think you can loosen it up a bit. And I think the authenticity comes from those spontaneous moments instead of like everything being scripted.
I agree. We got to figure out what we're talking about. This is why content creation's hard. On a podcast, like Parker and I have our structure. We have a guest a week where, Jenna, you're bringing a cool perspective and we get to talk about social media with you. And next week, we're going to have on someone totally different and we're going to have a conversation with them. And so there's plenty to talk about. That's where I turned this into a coaching call. Sorry. No, that's where I need help. Like, we're going to figure out what we need to talk about in all these videos. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Could be anything in your life, dude. What's the perspective? You try different things today. In Parker in the Park, I tried.
I don't have Parker in the Park, Parker. I don't know what to tell you.
I know, but what I'm saying,
it's too good a name.
It wasn't me like reviewing a park or showing a musician. Today, I was literally talking about a cliche that I hate, and I'm going to reframe this cliche and why. Boom. Yeah. That's the video series.
I think like the niching is dead. Like I went through that same type of thing on LinkedIn. I was like, what kind of entrepreneur do I want to be and who do I want to be talking to and who's my ideal audience and what is my niche of all these things. I'm spiritual over here and entrepreneur over here and I want to promote my business over here and it's too many things, but really it's just about who you are and all of those different things. Like I'm an entrepreneur and I'm very spiritual. I'm a hype woman, you know, and I own my own talent agency, and I like to like there's all of those things can coexist, and that's in today's day and age of social media what makes people interesting. I feel like the idea of niching down is dead. Like you are so interesting. Like I want to hear you talk about your corporate job, and I want to hear you talk about the podcast and behind the scenes of the podcast and what you ate for lunch and why you eat it that way, and you know, I don't know, like what podcast mic is the best, coming from somebody who's done 400 plus podcast episodes. Like you have so much to talk about.
Thank you, Jenna. Like I said,
I
I'm
agree.
inspired. I'm ready to roll.
That'll be $1,000, please. Thank you.
Please, no problem. You can join the nation for free now. We're going to get you business. I love it. All right. Now that I've juiced everything out of Jenna when it comes to social media in our at least free podcast interview, I want to move into our next segment, which is our rapid fire segment, Jenna. So we have a couple questions prepared for you. They're just random things that we wanted to talk to you about, that first thing that comes to your mind. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Is it one word answers, or can I respond?
You can elaborate on it. Just quick answers. First thing that comes to your mind. So because I spent so much time talking about content creation, we didn't get to another huge part of who you are, which is spirituality, mindfulness. So I'm going to sneak it into our rapid fire. What is one meditative or mindful practice that you do every day that helps ground you and get back to your positive energy?
Visualize the best possible outcome for like the very next thing that you're doing. Like positive, it's like called segment intending. And before you do anything, just sit down, close your eyes, and visualize it going in the best possible way and how you feel while it's happening. And yeah, just like all the positivity about it. So if you're about to sit down for work and you're like, oh, I don't want to like work on my client stuff right now or whatever, you sit down and you imagine, I'm feeling inspired, I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling grateful for this source of income, I'm feeling this, feeling that, and then sit down, and that will change everything.
I really like that one, especially because I haven't heard that practice before. I feel like I know a fair amount of mindfulness and meditation practices. That is a new one that I definitely am going to steal from you. So I have to ask you, did you do that before the pod? Is this going how you visualized?
Yeah. I wanted to feel very calm, very authentic, and very like not pre-planning my answers. And I feel like I'm doing that. Yeah, I feel
You're
very
doing
calm.
just that. Parker and I aren't bickering, so that's good.
That
Hopefully you
That's a plus.
manifested that. Yeah, exactly.
Talk about bad episodes or bad content at the beginning of starting something. I mean, we used to send our questions to guests ahead of time, and like we're like, wait, the guests are coming so scripted in our answers. It doesn't sound like an authentic conversation. And so for like the last 350 episodes, we haven't sent any questions to anyone.
So
And that's
good.
how the conversations are
toes.
so much better.
Yep.
So much better. All right, my rapid fire. I'm going to go back to the content creation piece. What's like one easy go-to trick that you tell people to help them make better and faster content?
Content batching. So batch a similar style of content. If that's a carousel type of content where you're educating, sit down and do like 5 or 10 of them. If you're making videos, put different shirts out and do like 10 of them at one time, because it's way easier to batch similar tasks than to every day wake up, record a video, edit a video, figure out the caption, do this, do that. When if you could just like, Monday I film 10 videos, Tuesday I edit 10 videos, Wednesday I make 10 carousels, Thursday, like that will help you like 10x your productivity in content creation.
There you go, Sam. That's honestly something I might do.
I was about to say Parker's about to
really
just
great.
go sit in the park with 10 different shirts and just start filming himself.
Well, that's a great point.
He's going to look homeless.
The
Changing in Central Park.
The park is so big. I could sit on a rock. I could lean up against a tree. I could go in the water if I wanted. I could,
The park is your
so
oyster,
many-
Parker. Go enjoy, buddy.
Damn right. Damn right.
All right, last rapid fire for you, Jenna. As you can see behind Parker, we like to read at Elevation Nation. Do you have a book recommendation for us? Oh, yeah, she does. That's what I'm talking about.
I would say The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, or
Parker's
Yeah.
got it. He's pointing to it.
Oh, you got it? So good. So good. Or let's see. I would say Ask and It Is Given. That's by Abraham Hicks. That's really woo-woo. That's like expert level. Not expert level, but that's like crazy level woo-woo. So that's not for beginners, I would say.
Is that more than Becoming? Have you read Becoming Supernatural?
Yes, Joe Dispenza.
Yes.
Yes.
Where
was
does that
great.
rank on the woo-woo scale?
I would say
for you?
equal, if not a little more. But that's where the segment intending comes in. That's from that book is the segment intending.
I did a shitty job of reading parts of it then because I don't remember that part. I
And
was
then-
struggling. I loved it, but there were parts that were so. I was like, I need like a slight level down from this.
It's a lot.
That was a tough
Joe
one. Yeah.
Dispenza is a lot. I also, for business books, I recommend the 4-Hour Workweek. I read that book. It's a little like outdated now, like some
Yeah.
of the websites on there and stuff, but the practice of it and the mindset, that is what really shifted my business from like, I have to hustle and I'm the 12 hours, like I'm really important if I work for that long. And that made me shift from like out of kind of like that hustle-y culture more to like, I want to work as efficiently as possible. I make the most and work the least amount of hours, which sounds lazy, but it's not. It's just like I want to be as efficient as I can.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. Thank you. Great books.
I love the Rex. It's all good. I have the Joe Dispenza book. I haven't read it yet.
That one's a good one.
Sam
It's
has
a lot.
scared me. I mean, like, I've watched his videos and stuff, but I read like 4 or 5 books at one time. It's another
Same.
thing. Like, I can never read one book from start to end. It's like, oh, I want to read about productivity. I have that book. I want to read about the founder of Walmart. I got that book. I have a book of quotes. I have a book on community building. Like, I'm always like thinking differently. Sam, start to end.
No, I'm the same way as you, Parker. I'm like, I want to read. I'm reading one spirituality book, one business book, and then one like romantic fantasy book at one time, just depending on what my mood is when I sit down to read.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with TV. Like,
Yes.
oh, I want to watch sports. Great. I want to watch thing on Netflix. It's the same thing. And I have no problem starting a book. I'm like, this effing sucks. I'm going to put it back on the shelf and maybe pick it up in a year. Like,
Yep.
who knows? I have no
Yep.
problem stopping a book either.
100%.
Learned that from Naval. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the best. Last question we have for you. This is the ultimate question on Elevation Nation because it is something that Sam and I are very passionate about asking people, not only on the podcast, but when we speak across the country. We help people craft their mental motto. That's a phrase, a quote, a slogan that they live their life by. And we believe that the mental motto represents your mental fortitude to go be a better leader in the world. So, Jenna, obviously, we're so curious. What's your mental motto?
Mental motto is the only thing that's in your control is the present moment.
I see some power of now in there.
Yes.
Let's talk through it. Tell us
So,
why.
I have struggled in the past with a lot of anxiety. That was something that I had growing up and something that I've learned to live with, and it flares up every now and again, but I always just, in those moments of anxiety and looking at the potential like worst case scenario, I always remind myself the only thing that I have in life is the present moment. The past is done, you can't change it, and the present, anything that you're imagining, it's fake. It's like, it's not real. You can have no way of knowing what happens tomorrow. You're worried about a situation 5 years from now, you could like get hit by a bus tomorrow. That's like a negative way of looking at it, but it's true. Like, don't worry about things in the future. So really just come back to the present moment and ask yourself the thing that you're anxious about. Is there anything I can do about that to positively help that right now? If so, then yes. If no, then you need to stop worrying about it because there nothing else exists but right now, always.
Great perspective. I think very similarly to that, where nothing is real. The only thing that is real is right now, because the only thing we can touch, see, feel, hear, it is here in this moment. Even the past it's real, but it's memories, which make it already altered because it happened in the past. The future, we obviously don't know where we're going. So the only thing that we have is where we are literally in this moment. I love that. Yeah. And you have the ability to shape that how you want.
tomorrow never comes. There will always be tomorrow. It never gets here. It's always right now.
Now I want to talk for an hour and a half about mindset and manifestation, but
You guys will have to
Jenna,
have me on again, I guess.
I think we might have to do a part 2. I like that. Cheers to that. I'm so very grateful that we got connected to you and we get to welcome you to the nation, and just thank you for sharing some tips. I'm sorry I picked your brain so much. I'm going to have more questions, so I'll text you. And I'm just so very excited that we get to welcome you to Elevation Nation and the power of not just now, but the power of our community and all the incredible people that we can't wait to introduce you to. And just on behalf of Parker and myself, welcome to Elevation Nation.
Thank you so much, and thank you both for the work that you do. It's absolutely incredible. I've been so inspired by your message, and Parker, since we got connected and have spoken. It's just been wonderful. You guys have been on my mind. I think you're doing amazing work, and I'm so excited to be a part of it and help out in any way that I can. I really believe in what you guys are doing.
Thanks,
Well,
Jenna.
we're pumped for you. It's going to be great.
All right, Elevation Nation. Until next week. Peace. Yeah.